Welcome back to Ringside Ramble. It's Niall here again, bringing all the latest news, views, and breakdowns from around the world of professional boxing. In this video, I'm going to be giving my little preview and prediction for a really intriguing fight this Saturday night on the undercard of Adam Azim and O'Hara Davis as Michael Mckinson looks to take a huge step back on the ladder towards massive fights at welterweight as he fights the dangerous big punch in South African Thulani and Mbenge at the Copper Box Arena in London for the IBO World Welterweight title. Mbenge, a former champion, a former belt holder with the IBO, looking to become two-time, and yeah, Michael McKinson looking to become a world champion in his own right. It's obviously not one of the most glamorous, most recognized world titles, but it is a world title that means a lot to the fighters, and it is a big stepping stone to those future kind of big fights with the kind of main organizations at 147 pounds. So a lot on the line for both men, and it's a fascinating clash of styles between both men as well. You have Mckinson. To be honest with you, I think Michael Mckinson is quality. I really do. I think he's a very underrated fighter. Slick, southpaw, creates great angles, pivots well, side to side, throws shots from these kind of unorthodox at times angles, but all different angles to head and body. And yeah, he's so awkward, so slippery. He's a nightmare for most people. That's why a lot of people don't want to fight Michael McKinson, and I can understand why, such an awkward operator, but so slick and yeah, so slick and clever with his work. I really rate him as a fighter. Looking to secure the big fights. Of course, he fought Virgil Ortiz, and he didn't disgrace himself in the Virgil Ortiz fight. There's no shame in it. He caused Virgil Ortiz some problems early on in that with his boxing skills and his kind of back foot kind of awkwardness. Uh, but yeah, Virgil Ortiz broke him down eventually and stopped him. No shame in it at all. Virgil Ortiz heading for the top, surely. Huge puncher. And yeah, that's the only blemish on his record. Of course, has good wins against, domestic wins against the likes of Chris Congo, but he definitely has the ability. He has the skill set to cause a lot of top welterweights in the world problems. He really does. It doesn't matter what your name is. If you're one of the elite welterweights, Michael McKinson will cause you problems. You have the best welterweight in the world at the minute, Boots Ennis. McKinson could cause him problems. Boots Ennis had him in for sparring not so long ago. That shows you how much he kind of respects him, that he brought him over to his camp. So yeah, I think Michael McKinson has real talent. The only thing that has held him back, obviously, is the lack of power, the kind of severe lack of power. To be honest with you, four knockouts in 20 odd fights. If he could just have a bit more pop in his punches to get these opponents to kind of respect what's coming back at them, as well as his kind of how slippery and awkward he is, and the angles he creates, and his boxing kind of skill off the back foot. He'd be really, he'd be an absolute world title, a hot contender for world titles. He really would. But yeah, he's got a couple of stoppages in his last few fights since he fought Ortiz. Actually, he's doubled his stoppage percentage from the two that he had pre Ortiz. He's got two in his last four, I believe. So maybe he's kind of he's starting to have a bit more pop in his shots. Starting to kind of dig into his punches a bit more. But yeah, he's been on a winning run since that Ortiz fight, although not against any sort of top level opposition. Musa Lawson was undefeated, so that is a decent win. But he really wants to get back towards these top names, and fighting Tulani and Mbenge for the IBO title is a big step towards taking that. And Mbenge, very dangerous fighter. Big puncher, South African. Um, 15 knockouts in 20 fights, can really whack. Is a good fighter, aggressive, come forward fighter, fast hands, very fast hands, dangerous hooks. He is a good fighter, and he's only been beaten by two men, quite decent operators in Sebastian Formella and Suleiman Sissoko. A lot of people thought he beat Formella, to be honest, over in Germany. I think he could have nicked it as well, to be honest, looking at that fight. Formella definitely didn't win that convincingly by any means. Of course, Sebastian Formella, a future opponent he would go on to be of Sean Porter and Conor Benn. And then Suleiman Sissoko, another really, really top operator, top European level welterweight. So they're the only two losses on his record. Really good for it. As I mentioned, you have that power, the snapping hooks, fast hands. So Michael Mckinson, really kind of he has to really be careful here with this fella. He is the favorite, rightly so, but he has to keep switched on, likely for the 12 rounds. Because you get caught with that power, you're gonna feel it, and he has to really mind his p's and q's here. And Mbenge is a dangerous fighter. That being said, to give a prediction, I think Mbenge does have his flaws for all the positives I kind of gave him there, which are true: the power, the speed, the aggression. He does quite sloppy in my opinion when he lets his hands go, when he lets those hooks go, and he leaves his chin a bit in the air. For me, and he commits to an attack probably when he shouldn't do. He lets his hands go, and if he's not successful, he'll stay in there at times and often overreach and get sloppy with his attacks, and leave himself open to counters. Of course, Michael McKinson, a great counter puncher in his own right. So I think stylistically he'll kind of get a bit sloppy and kind of because he'll be the aggressor here. He'll get too sloppy and pressing the more elusive, awkward Michael McKinson, and he will leave those openings for McKinson to exploit. So I think McKinson will kind of. Mbenge has a style to make McKinson look good here. He really does, but it always comes down to Mbenge is still dangerous in terms of if he doesn't respect the power of Michael McKinson, he'll walk through what McKinson has. And I think he needs to he struggled with kind of movers, back foot movers before in Bengay and in Formella. I know he could have won that fight, but he did have his moments where he really struggled in nailing them down. I think he needs to adopt the Virgil Ortiz strategy of working the body, targeting the body of Michael McKinson. The head, as they say, the head moves, the body never moves. And Virgil Ortiz had to switch his plan of attack when McKinson was having success. And of course, he ended up breaking McKinson down and stopping him to the body. So I think body work for Mbenge here would be really key in breaking McKinson down. But as I say, I think Mbenge's style will give McKinson too many openings. It really will for counters, and he'll kind of create too many angles for Mbenge to be able to deal with. And I think the South African will become increasingly frustrated. And I think Michael McKinson will win a fairly comfortable decision in the end. Maybe 116, 112, that type of range. I think it'll be a decisive decision win for Michael McKinson. But as I say, he has to keep switching on for 12 rounds because this South African can really punch, and he's quick. So Michael McKinson cannot afford to overlook him here for 1 second, or he could find himself on the end of a disastrous defeat. So yeah, that's my quick preview and prediction for a really intriguing clash this Saturday night at the Copper Box as Michael McKinson fights Thulani and Mbenge for the IBO welterweight title. A really interesting clash of styles. Aggression, the bull versus the matador, and a lot at stake for the winner. It's a big stepping stone, the IBO world title to youth fights, future fights with the main organization's champions like Stanionis, Boots Ennis, Barrios, Brian Norman Jr., those sort of names. So I'm looking forward to this one on the Adam Azima Hire Davis undercard. Let us know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to this one? Let us know how you think it plays out. Can Mbenge spring an upset here and catch McKinson? With that youth power, or will McKinson win and advance to face those champions? And how much does he trouble the names I mentioned? Stanionis, Boots, Barrios, Brian Norman. Can he beat any of them to win a quote unquote main world title? Let us know what you think in the comments. And of course, please don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to give us a subscribe, like the video, share it, follow us over on X. Always great content coming out regularly from myself. So if you enjoy it, please help us out by giving us a subscribe and a follow on social media. That'd be great. And until next time, speak again and take care.